So hello and welcome, I'm Frederick Dunn, and today I want to show you a grow light. The reason I want to do that is because it's wintertime now. Today is November the 27th, and wouldn't you know it, it's snowing. So what are we doing? Looking forward to ways to break up the winter and do something great for your honeybees or other pollinators if you don't have bees. This is a grow light, and no big secret, Sansi, it's what it says right on there. I'm going to test it out, just give you the details about it, but I'm also going to show you what I'm planting on my property again this coming year. So here we are, as I mentioned, November the 27th. Christmas is coming up. If you've got a beekeeper or somebody that might want to start a perennial garden or something next year. The light source here is LEDs, but this thing actually gets pretty darn hot. That's why it's made the way it is. It says it's good for a lifespan of 50,000 hours. Well, I know it's worked for a year so far, so at least that much we know for sure. We'll go over the details. It's kind of heavy, and I'll also show you how I set up my seed starter right here inside the house on the porch. So of course I'm just including an oversight here of, not oversight, but an overview of the safety warnings and things like that. Of course, highly recommend if you're going to use one of these around water, watering cans, sprinkler system, whatever you have, you might want to be plugging that into a ground fault circuit interrupter. Of course, this shows the light spectrum. Doesn't mean anything to me, but if you understand these light spectrums, then and whether or not that's good for growing plants, I can tell you that it is. But they just include a nice heavy-duty cord with the ground, and look at this. We have a little controller so that we can decide how bright the light should be. And of course, the distance from your plants makes a difference too. And it looks like they've weather sealed it really well, and of course the housing is heavy aluminum, so it seems like cast material. Everything is pretty well thought out. Stainless steel cable here with these little clips, and I also had to get something to mount this to the wall. I didn't want to set it on a rack, although it seems like it's set up so that you can do that. It even has threaded holes at the ends of it, so you could maybe put these in series, I don't know. Now the specs and the instructions are in millimeters, so I'm going to show it to you in inches here. It's 21.5 inches long. And I've already got the cable in, but I'm going to go over those details so you can see how to adjust the height. The width, of course, is 5 inches. And then the height on the heavy end here, which is where it's got probably the workings in there, 4 inches tall. So this is it. It's really simple. Comes ready to go. You will have to come up with something that can hold a decent amount of weight, and I did weigh it. LED grow light, the company name is Sansi again. Wall mount only, it says. So I guess maybe they don't want you to set it on top of things. And it says rated power is 200 watts. We're going to test that. And it looks like the LEDs are behind a clear housing that keeps it waterproof, so that if water spritzes up onto it, I guess it's not that big a deal. And I'm going to use 6-inch pots. Looking back on this, I would rather go with 4-inch pots for starting things out. Just give me the close-up here of how the parts go together, just in case you got it in a box and you don't want to read the instructions. This is it. It's pretty straightforward. They're threaded there. Disconnect it, put it through the hole, and then thread it back in. And everything's adjustable. Also, they've got these threaded holes. That is not a 1/4-20. It's also not a 3/8. So whatever is between that, maybe you could put it on some kind of rack system, or maybe they'll go in series. I don't know. And it has these metal standoffs built into the casting, so if you sat it flat on a surface while it's hot, the hot LEDs are not going to come in contact with whatever surface you put it on. So I think that's a good idea. And again, the cord, how long is it? Knew somebody's going to ask. It's 5 feet long, 3 prongs. That means it's got 2 grounds, the common and the third ground there. And again, I'm going to say it just to keep you safe. Use the GFCI. It weighs 6 pounds, 6.6 pounds to be exact. And I'm going to test the wattage and see what kind of energy it's going to cost you to run it if you had it on full blast. And this is of course showing the voltage the line is plugged into first, 122.8 volts, pretty straightforward there. And I'm of course going to turn it all the way up, and we're going to see what it would cost you. But here's the funny part too. While it's off, it pulls 0.3 or 0.4 watts. So it never is completely at zero. When I turn it all the way up, it goes to 213 watts. So it's rated at 200, goes to 213, and I have to tell you, I never used it this high. So you could feasibly hang it much higher from your plants, turn it way up, and probably illuminate a lot more plants than I'm doing here. And I have it on a wire rack system, but I just thought I'd let you know that it is going to draw some wattage. These are the brackets that I put on the wall. I screwed them into the 2x4 studs. I think that's pretty important if you're going to hang any kind of weight. Now these are designed to hang plants from. So I figured, well, if it'll hold up plants, it's definitely going to hold a 6-pound light. And here's my rack system. This is fantastic. Air goes through it easily. It holds a lot of weight, so you can fill up all your pots, put dirt on them, and then when you add water, you still have plenty of extra capacity. So these screw in by hand. I found that if I did that, it was enough to lock these cables in place, probably just as an extra safety. You want to use your screwdriver to give it that little tighten up there. And then you hang it and you adjust them until it's level. It did swing over to the heavy side, which is on the right. So the right side was shorter, left side was longer, just because of the weight. And you can see how the controller hangs down, easy access. I also plug it into a timer that it didn't show. Those are 6-inch pots, as I mentioned before. Much prefer 4-inch pots. I could have got a lot more on there. And those are just standard cafeteria sized trays, dirt cheap. I bought them on Amazon. The light is from Amazon. The seeds are from Amazon. The pots are from Amazon. So if you want to search these things out yourself, you can do that, but I'll also put links down in the video description. Those will be affiliate links, which means that when you click them, some of the items I might be compensated for. And there we go, just showing you could leave it on as a night light if you wanted to. Some people recommend periods of night, darkness. So anise hyssop, or anise hyssop, however you pronounce it, you just lay the seeds right on top. You don't poke them in there. They need light to germinate. Some people say they need stratification, which means cold cycling. Others say you don't. So I'll tell you, I did not stratify them. I did not run them through a cold cycle, which you can do in your refrigerator or your freezer. And I water from the bottom. So I just pour the water from my aquarium, by the way, right on these trays. Again, those are just standard cafeteria plastic trays. And then I put saran wrap over the top. Why do I do that? Well, I want to hold moisture in until I see green. So once the seeds start germinating, and once the little green parts start, it's time to pull that saran wrap away, or whatever clear cover you've used to hold the moisture in, until they germinate. Here's the condensation on the inside of the saran wrap. And of course, they say it's very important to pull that off and don't leave it once the green shows, or you can dampen off your plants, whatever that means. So here they are. Now, the only thing I did that was wrong here, I started them too soon. So I have a couple of varieties of hyssop here that came up. Black Adder, Agastache. I've got, you can tell by the leaves that they're a little different. I recommend starting these about 6 weeks before you're ready to take them outside. And these plants are cold hardy. There are advantages to that, because you know what they tell you? They tell you they won't bloom until the following year. Well, here they are out in the yard. And this is this year, 2023. So they were started early winter, early spring, I should say, 2023. Then I just carried them out in their pots, dug a trench, dropped the dirt in, and planted them. So they all flowered the first year. So that's a great advantage for starting them inside. And they got pretty tall too. They're perennial, so they'll come back every year. But also at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how I collected my own seeds. Now, maybe you know better than I do. I don't know. Someone said that the seeds may not reproduce the exact plants that they came from. So I'm not sure how that works. But they were very easy to collect the seeds. These are long blooming, so your bees get nectar and pollen from these hyssop plants. And they didn't quite reach 4 feet, but they were pretty darn close, 2.5 to 3 feet on average. My only regret is that I didn't plant hundreds of them. My goal this year, going into 2024, will be to have a nice big hyssop patch. And I also clipped off the tops and just sprinkled the seeds around because we have snow right now. So I thought it would be great to have that down before the snow starts. Some people ask about soil prep. All I did for this one was mow it close to the ground, and I dig little holes where I planted each plant. So here we are. These were being collected on November the 26th. So that was just yesterday. Snow today, it was in the 40s yesterday. So I clipped off the tops and I put them in my ladybug containers, of course, because they have little screens on top. And I thought, clip the tops, put the screen on top that keeps ladybugs in, and then I'll just turn it over and shake the seeds out. Well, that proved to be unnecessary. I'm going to show you another method here. I just clip the stems, and then I found out if I just turn them upside down, the seeds just fall right out of them. So everything is asleep in the landscape. This is a great way to collect the seeds and to start your own from seeds. So they're self-perpetuating. And look, just shake them out. Look at those nice fat seeds that are in there. So I'm going to be planting these this winter. So going into 2023, 2024, I'm going to triple the number of seeds that I'm starting. Look what I have in just a few minutes. Get these in on the kitchen table. Thousands of them. When you buy the seeds online, you get a pack of like 2,000, and I don't know what it costs, but once you get these things started in your yard, if they come out the way I hope they do, if you know more about the genetics of these, and if the seeds don't, produce true plants or whatever's going on, let me know. For those of you who don't already have hyssop to get the seeds from, this is a good source. Purple giant hyssop, agastache. I get these on Amazon, just like I said, or you can go straight to their website, everwild.com. And these are good until 2025, so I'm starting these, and of course, I need to start these because I know they're going to produce the right plants. And I'm also going to use the seeds that I harvested for my own plants in other pots, and I'm going to see if they grow the same. If they do, I'm set. I have 3 different patches of hyssop right now, and the Xerxes Society lists hyssop in the top 100 pollinator nectar and pollen plants. So, great. I hope that you liked it and that you'll consider maybe starting your own. Thanks for watching. Look down in the video description for the links for everything I showed you here. Enjoy the rest of your week and maybe think about starting seeds and plants indoors this winter and break up the boredom. Thanks for watching.